Happy New Year! I'm Johanna, and I read 51 books this year. Or should I say last year? Today I want to share the best ones. So on this chilly winter day, cozy up with me to talk about my favorite topic, books. Let's get into it. In fifth place, we have The Book of Love by Kelly Link. This is an enchanting story set in the small seaside town of Love's End, Massachusetts, as it prepares for winter and Christmas.
Santa's coming to town!
But what the residents of Love's End can't prepare for is the sudden, inexplicable arrival of ancient, all-powerful, supernatural beings. They possess the magical skills to bring three of our protagonists, Mo, Daniel, and Laura, back from the dead. But the kids aren't free to just return to their adolescent lives. No. These magical forces want something, need something from them and their loved ones. What unfolds from this fascinating premise is a gorgeously written and envisioned coming-of-age tale. What I loved about this book was the unexpected blend of the seemingly small-scale dramas of teenagers, like fights between sisters, first loves, dreams of the future, and the huge magical forces at play in their small town. I loved how genres ranging from fantasy to comedy to mystery sang a perfect harmony in this book. In fourth place is Against the Loveless World by Susan Abulhawa. This is the beautifully written story of a Palestinian woman looking back on her life from the confines of a jail cell. Nar has had many names, has been shunted between many places, and has learned to survive. And now she's telling her story to Bilal, who is not there and who may not even be alive. The writing and storytelling in this book is so beautiful. It explores often upsetting events and circumstances in a straightforward way that eases the difficulty of reading about them, and in doing so makes the story that much more impactful. This is a great book for people wanting to learn more about what Palestinian people have endured without necessarily reading an in-depth history book. It explores themes of resistance, alienation, companionship, and love in such a heart-wrenching way, and I loved it. In third place, we have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. This book is heartbreaking in just the right way. Set during World War II, it alternates primarily between the perspectives of Werner, a German boy whose intelligence and engineering skills capture the attention of the Nazis, and Maurier, a blind girl living in France who is forced to take refuge in her great-uncle's house in Saint-Malo after Paris is invaded. The interweaving stories of their lives highlight how hope and humanity can help to transcend the horrors of war. What I loved about this book was its rich writing, compelling three-dimensional characters, and attention to detail. It's evident that a huge amount of research went into this book, and the result is a fully realized, meticulously detailed work of art. We're nearing the top of the list, which means we're getting to my very, very favorite books of 2024. And the silver medal goes to Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. This book was first published in 1938. I adore old books that hold up well today, and while there was definitely some language in this that I could have done without, I was overall pleasantly surprised by how much I loved it. It follows a woman struggling to find her own identity after accepting the proposal of a unpleasant and dull, but handsome and rich widower.
Please promise me never to wear black satin or pearls, or to be 36 years old.
Yes, Gregson.
Now stuck in his sprawling mansion, Manderley, on the Cornish coast of England, she finds herself unable to shake the figurative ghost of his dead wife, Rebecca. I loved spending all 15-ish hours of this audiobook with a narrator who lived so much inside her own head. From the formidable housekeeper, Mrs. Danvers, to the apparently superior former wife, Rebecca, the characterization in this book was impeccable, as was the imagery of the echoing mansion, the crashing waves, the dark, heavy, foreboding clouds. Classics can often be disappointing, but I think Rebecca deserves that acclaim. And finally, we have the very best book that I read in 2024. And that is Drive Your Plough Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk. Originally published in Polish in 2009, this is a wonderfully atmospheric novel set across the dark winter days in a remote village in Poland. Our narrator is an older woman who keeps to herself, preferring the company of animals to humans. When her neighbor suddenly turns up dead, Janina starts inserting herself into the investigation. But few will listen to her theories, writing her off as some crazy old lady who isn't worthy of a voice. I'm obsessed with the entire mysterious, creepy, wintry, dark vibe of this book. Janina is such a unique, engaging narrator who refuses to put up with anyone's nonsense, and I loved being in her perspective as this whodunit unfolded. This also felt like a vegan book in many ways, condemning humans' dominion over animals, which was really refreshing. So if anyone is lacking something to read in the winter months, which, contrary to our wishes, will continue even though Christmas and New Year's are now over, I can't recommend this enough. In a way, my top two books are very similar. They both unfold from the minds of women wanting to make themselves seen and heard. I listened to them both on audio, and they were both atmospheric, creepy, and dark. Very interesting. So I can happily say that if you forget about everything that went down in 2024, it was, at least for me, a wonderful time for reading. And I've only covered 10% of all the books I read this year. I want to shout out a few honorable mentions here as well, in no particular order. Books like In by Will MacPhail, Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld, Rifka by Mohammed Al-Kurd, Endurance, Shackleton's Incredible Voyage by Alfred Lansing, 48 Clues into the Disappearance of My Sister by Joyce Carol Oates, and The Takedown by Carly Walker, who I actually had the pleasure of interning for in the fall. Reflecting on my reading wrap-up for 2024, I have a few not very fleshed out reading goals for 2025. First, with fiction making up 90% of the books I read this year, I want to discover some more amazing nonfiction, since clearly that's a genre I slacked on a bit this year, and I know there's so much more out there to dive into. Second, I want to make more of a conscious effort to read books by authors from diverse backgrounds. It seems I tend to gravitate towards books written by my demographic, aka white women, because they must do something to reflect my own experience in the world. But the beauty of reading is exploring perspectives different from one's own. So I want to be more purposeful with the books I pick up this year. And finally, I kind of want to try reading even more. I don't know where it's coming from, but lately I have this insatiable itch to consume as many books as I possibly can. For the last 2 years, my goal has been to read 50 books, and that has felt very manageable because it amounts to about a book a week. This year, I may set my goal to 60, and dare I say, increase it each year? Stay tuned. I hope you too have had a wonderful year of reading with many more to come. Let me know in the comments what your favorite book of 2024 was, or what you're really looking forward to reading in 2025. Otherwise, have a fantastic new year, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!